Hello, this is Tom Beal, and I'm excited to share with you this story of You Don't Belong Here. So, this is a story about what happened to me when someone told me this at a job that I was working at, and what led me to joining the United States Marine Corps. And here's the brief story of You Don't Belong Here. Now, the sub story is to push you into uncertainty, to push you out of your comfort zone, because regardless of what level of success you have going on right now, I'd like you to think about how You Don't Belong Here is pertinent to you. So here we go. So at the bottom of the screen, you see me on a bike, that little Hutch Trickstar. That was prior to the Marine Corps. That was my teenage years. I saw the movie Rad, saw them doing tricks on the bikes, and said, whoa, wouldn't that be cool? Somehow, some way, got my mom, stepdad, and dad, and as many other family members as possible to pool together money to get me a bike that was capable of doing tricks. And then started looking for people in my neighborhood that also had those bikes and wanted to do tricks. Long story short, went from not knowing anything to within a few short years, through mentors, through teenagers who had skills higher than mine, teaching me these tricks, to become a national bicycle champion in freestyle in 1989. So began that journey just a few short years prior, 85, 86 range. And through finding those people who were better than I was, they would teach me the tricks. I went from not knowing anything to being a novice, to being an intermediate, to being an expert, and won my championship, national championship at my age group in the expert category for the year of 1989. Now, that was when we had the team, North Coast Freestyle, and my mother was the manager of the team. And just so you know, here's a brief backstory. I was born to teenagers. My mom was 17, my dad was 19. I was raised around 4 divorces and 6 marriages as a child. Went to 9 different schools by 8th grade. Had a lot of chaos, a lot of adversity. And I don't say that to ask for any pity or by any stretch of the imagination to say I had it worse than you or anyone, but just to say that I had stuff going on as a child. There were a lot of tears shed. There was a lot of chaos, to say the least. But through that, my parents and family loved me and supported me as best as they possibly could, and trained me that if I put my heart and soul into something, I could achieve pretty much anything if I was serious about it and committed to it. So I became a top wrestler. I became the national bicycle champion. And then this is how I got to the Marine Corps. So in one of those divorces, my mom had that going on, and the team just pretty much fell apart. So she was the manager of the team. We were just teenagers doing the tricks. She had sponsors for us. She would book the shows, and we do parades and shows and schools and things of that nature. And the team kind of fell apart. And fast forward a little bit, next thing you know, went from signing autographs, touring the East Coast pretty much, signing autographs for hours at a time and performing in front of audiences, to now working in a factory. And everything worked out perfectly. It happened exactly the way it needed to. But the factory was Ultrafab up in Farmington, New York. And here I was producing weather stripping on 3 machines for 8 hours a day. And many times I worked 2 shifts. So I'd work from 3 to 11 p.m. and then 11 p.m. to 7 in the morning. And pretty much working and sleeping was my life. And I was doing well at it. I was excelling because everything that I put my mind to, I give it my all. So I was working there and I gave my all and was excelling through the company, and was looking for another role, looking for a promotion in essence. And the person who was in that role of the promotion that I was seeking to get, which basically, instead of being a machine operator, I was going to be a repairer of those machines. He heard me talking over lunch, which I don't remember what time that was, but somewhere between 3 p.m. and 11 p.m., the odd shift, whatever that lunch break was. And he came up to me and said, "Tom, you don't belong here." And it shook me. I said, "What do you mean? I'm thought I'm pretty good. I thought I'm doing my best." He's like, "Oh, you're good." He's like, "But I see you in me 20 years ago." He said, "Do you want to be here 20 years from now?" And at the time, I was 19 years old, 18, 19 years old, and I never even thought about that. And I said, "Wow, I didn't even think about that." He's like, "Well, I overheard you at lunch, and right now you're thinking of getting a new car, you're thinking of getting a place." He's like, I reflected back to where I was 20 years ago, and I got the car, I financed the car, I got a new apartment, and had a girlfriend. We got pregnant, had a baby, got married, and next thing you know, 20 years go by." He said, "Do you want to be here 20 years from now?" And I said, man, I didn't even think about that. So that led me to planted a seed, and it put some things in action to where I went and got a part-time job at the mall, Eastview Mall, up in the Rochester, New York, Victor area, and was working at Merry-Go-Round, a clothing store, Merry-Go-Round, the hip hop clothing store. And that was on weekends, and it was, a part-time job. So now I was doing a 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. shift, and many times doing the weekend as well, working at Merry-Go-Round. And pretty much, like I said, went from being that national bicycle champion, signing autographs, to just working at the factory, working at Merry-Go-Round, and sleeping, right? And that was pretty much my life. While at the mall, a Marine Corps recruiter came by and said, "Are you happy?" And normally, for those who know me, I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky person, always optimist. And I said, "You know what? Not necessarily, not really." He's like, "Okay, do you like to travel?" I said, "Love to travel." He said, "Did you play sports?" I said, "I wrestled." He's like, "How'd you like to wrestle for the Marine Corps, travel in the world wrestling?" I said, "Sold." Fast forward a couple months, I quit both jobs and was in United States Marine Corps boot camp in January 1993. And that's how the "You Don't Belong Here" story planted the seeds to leading to a path and a trajectory that I had not planned. I never once in high school took the ASVAB, the test that you take to go into any of the military branches. Never foresaw that at all, and actually never even skipped a class. Like, I could have skipped classes to go to recruiting sessions and things like that in high school. Never chose that option. And then just out of that random crossing, if there are any things that are random, of the Marine Corps recruiter and myself, I went into boot camp in January 1993. April 2nd of 1993, I graduated as the #1 honor graduate. And this was handed to my grandparents. My grandfather, Ed Beal, who was at Pearl Harbor back when that occurred, and they got to sit next to the base general, the commanding general, due to me being the honor man of my platoon. So very honored to have them experience that during my graduation and see all that. But let's circle back to "You Don't Belong Here." So here we came, coming into the end of this year, the end of this decade, entering a new year, a new decade, in just a few short weeks of 2020. And I don't have my glasses on now, but 2020 vision, right? So 2020 is kind of a big deal. My friend Jeffrey Gitomer says it's the birthdays with zeros that make us think a little more than the others. And I think moving into a new decade in the year 2020 has myself and possibly you thinking as well a little bit more than any quote-unquote normal year. 2019 went by fast, as they seem to do. And B, you may have noticed this decade went by pretty fast. Well, guess what? Life is like a roll of toilet paper. Starts off pretty big and plump, and as you get down to it, at the end, it starts spinning really quickly. And if you think about it, that's true in our life as well, and mathematically so. When you're 1 and turn 2, you're 100% older. When you're 47 and turn 48, you're only 1/48th older. So statistically, it's not as significant as in the early years. So life actually goes quicker as you age. So this next year is going to go even faster. This next decade is going to go even faster. And I would have you contemplate, you don't belong here. You don't belong here. And what does that mean to you? And I would have you consider my Trinity success method, for health, relationships, and finances. Which of those 3 calls to you and says, yeah, I don't belong here with my health? There's something that needs to change. If nothing changes, nothing changes, right? So my health may be calling to you, or your relationships. You know what? Yeah, my relationships. I need to put some time, energy, focus, and attention into those key relationships. Maybe neglected them this year. Maybe neglected them for this past decade. Maybe the relationship with yourself needs more time, energy, and effort. And then there's the third of the Trinity success method triangle, your financial situation. Yeah, 2019, I need more time and attention, energy into growing my financial situation. And maybe this past year, the proper attention wasn't given, or maybe in this past decade, it was a rough decade. The situation. But for these areas, I would have you contemplate and ask yourself, do I belong here? Am I better than this? Am I capable of more? Now, speaking to you through this technology, this computer screen that we have here, I would say yes, regardless of where you are right now, you are capable of more. And it's funny because recently an epiphany hit me, and the epiphany is what have I been known for, and what have I pushed people to do over the last few years. And funny enough, this little image here has been staring me in the face since 2011. And I finally got the aha moment of like, wow, what do I really do with my elite clients that I work with? And I work with multimillionaires, and from all standpoint, it reminds me of the Jim Rohn quote. Jim Rohn was the person who trained Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins worked for him years and years ago when Tony was like 19. And Jim Rohn says, you go to these seminars and you see Rolls Royces in the parking lot. You see Ferraris, you see Lamborghinis, and you wonder, geez, don't they already have it figured out? What are they doing at these seminars? What, do they need another Rolls Royce? They need another Ferrari? Well, the funny thing is, it's the people at the top who recognize it takes having that coach. It takes having those advisors. Think about it. Actors have coaches. The top actors, the names that you know and love. The top athletes have coaches. A variety of coaches, not just one, but a variety of them. And I deal with the elite. I'm friends with most of the living marketers that you're well aware of, know, like, and trust. And I have coached several of them. And what do? Is I really help them continually push themselves out of their comfort zone and recognize they are capable of more. So regardless if you're sitting there saying, well, Tom, you just don't know, this was the toughest year, this was the toughest decade yet, regardless if you got two nickels to rub together or you got tens of millions of dollars in your investment portfolio, we all individually are exactly where we are based upon our comfort zones. And until something changes, nothing's going to change. There's that old adage, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So in our health, in our relationships, in our finances, good, bad, ugly, whatever label you want to put on it, we're exactly where we are because that's where we're comfortable. And it's until we can make that intentional choice to say, I am capable of more. I don't belong here. I deserve to be a healthier version of me, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I deserve to be in a great relationship with myself, a great relationship in those that are in my circle, personally and professionally. And just for a quick update, time equals love. Like where we give time, that's love in relationships. And financially, you know what? I know I'm capable of so much more. I know that there are some comfort zones that are preventing me from taking the actions that I know are mine to take. And when I take those actions consistently, I know for a fact the financial results will not just modify a little bit, but exponentially grow. And I just shared something that kind of is the secret behind the secret. We all pretty much know what to do to improve our health, to improve our relationships, to improve our financial situation. It is our comfort zone that's holding us back. It is each of our individual comfort zones that keep us exactly where we are. And until we have the courage and until we surround ourselves with the right people who can help us, just like the athletes, have those wide variety of coaches that help push them to be even better than the elite level that they already are. Even the top highly successful entrepreneurs who have the individuals like me and others who push them continually to take the actions that they know that are theirs to take. And it just goes back to that old analogy, I guess, that you might recognize. If you tell me you're going to meet me at the gym tomorrow at 7 a.m., even when the alarm goes off in the morning, you're going to look at it and say, crap, why did I tell Tom I was going to meet him at the gym at 7 a.m.? I don't feel like going. It's raining out. It's cold or snowing here in the cold winter. It's not cold here in South Florida. It's just high 70s, right? But it might be snowing where you are. Like, crap, I don't really feel like going. And the key is for successful people, the top performers, that we take the action whether we feel like it or not. And generally, when we have someone that we've told outside of ourselves, we have a higher probability and propensity to take those actions when we don't have somebody and we just tell ourselves. So go back to that same scenario and you tell yourself, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow at 7. The alarm goes off in the morning. You're like, oh, crap, it's cold out. It's raining. It's snowing. I don't feel like going. Click. No one else needs to know. You don't go. No harm, no foul. We let ourselves off the hook. So I am the comfort zone coach. And this Mankini shows in wild, outrageous form of me speaking in front of 500 people roughly in San Diego at my friend Trey Smith's event in the Borat Mankini. And if you go to comfortzonecoach.com, you'll be able to see this brief video. I think it's 4-5 minutes long. And then when you go to the next step, it shows me speaking in front of 1,800 people in the Netherlands about how this came to be and the lessons that I put in place to turn this funny joke into a reality that, you know, actors are pigeonholed or something like that. Like this happened in 2011 and people still come up to me. I was there. I was at that live event. I don't remember anyone else's presentation, but I remember that. And it's helped people to do one of the things that they say is difficult and out of their comfort zone, which is speak on stage. And even the top millionaires, decamillionaire friends of mine have said that this video helps them remind themselves when they get the butterflies prior to stepping on stage. Like, man, if Tom could do it with that little slingshot on, I can do it with my clothes fully on. And so this wild, outrageous example has impacted people since 2011. And my hope is it will impact you, but not as many people. There's like 100,000 views of it on YouTube. Not as many people have seen in my opinion, the more important video is when I spoke in front of 1,800 people in the Netherlands about how this came to be. Because in it, you can deconstruct the lessons of taking some weird, crazy, outlandish idea, turning it into reality, and then having the guts, having the courage to take the proper actions to make it a reality. So there's lessons hidden in this initial video and then the second video that my hope is helps you recognize you don't belong here. You are capable of more. And I don't even remember that person's name who told me at the UltraFab that I don't belong there, but that put my life on a different trajectory, and I'm forever grateful that he pushed me to consider something that I hadn't even thought of. So my hope is that's what this does for you, to push you out of your comfort zone, to let you know you are capable of more. And this is regardless of whatever peak you may be at right now. Like, I don't know. I think I'm pretty darn good. I think I've tapped into everything I can currently do. Well, I can tell you, no, you haven't. I don't feel myself or anyone in the world, regardless of what level of success they've attained, have even come close to tapping into their full capabilities, their full potential. And if you're in a difficult spot, know this, you're not alone. Everybody has their own thing going on. And everybody has it individualized. Like I have stuff going on. You have stuff going on. Everybody that we come across has stuff going on. And generally it's in their health, relationships, or finances. They're either just coming out of a big situation in one or multiple areas of those. They're in one or multiple areas of those right now that are challenging, or there's challenges right around the corner in their health, relationships, or finances with themselves or the people close to them. And that's what's called life, ladies and gentlemen. Life, none of us get a badge that says, hey, congratulations, you've reached a level of success where there's going to be no more problems, no more chaos, no more challenges. Unfortunately, that's la la land. That doesn't exist. Matter of fact, the higher the levels of success you attain, the higher levels of challenges and chaos that will come across your path. That's like Mario Brothers. Each level you go to, it's more difficult. So the levels as you grow, you sometimes wonder that quote that says you aren't given any challenges that you can't handle. And you look up and you're like, oh, time out. I appreciate you thinking highly of me, but this one, I'm not sure if I can handle this. Know that you've got this. Know that with the proper team behind you, just like the athletes, just like the top business professionals, recognize they need their counsel, they need their advocate. With that right person, with those right people behind you, you can persevere, you can push forward one step at a time, and you can dream bigger, put the proper consistent plan in place by continually pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and turn those dreams into reality. So you've got this. My hope is this reaches you at a great point right prior to this year closing, this decade closing, and makes you think about what's yours to do. And what I would suggest, what's yours to do, is go to Comfort Zone Coach ComfortZoneCoach.com. Watch this video. Go watch the second video with a pad and paper and get over the craziness. Yes, I get that it's crazy. You don't have to step on a stage in a Borat Mankini or go streak around a football game or anything like that. But you and I know that the comfort zone that you're currently in is preventing you from reaching that next level in your health, the next level that you're capable of in your relationships, and the next level that you're capable of in your financial situation. Each of us have that constraint of the comfort zone. Comfort zones are comfortable, man, and they continually grow, and we have to continually step out into uncertainty because that's where the greatness awaits. Having the courage, having the boldness, having the confidence of like, you know what if I got to lose? Would I rather have a life full of amazing memories, or like, oh well, I went for it, or would I rather have regrets? And I don't think you'd have the latter. You don't want the latter. I don't want the latter. So this is my telling you, you don't belong here moment. Where you belong is going to watch this video and the next one with a pad of paper, take notes, and I want to hear back from you. I want to hear what your takeaway was, because just like each of us have our own personal comfort zones for each of those areas, we each have our own individual challenges, and we each have our own individual aha moments that will occur for us. So I want to hear what your aha moment is. And my hope is this is a catalyst, just like that person telling me I don't belong here all those years ago, 1992, changed my life. My hope is this reminds you that you're capable of more. And this can be a trajectory modifier for you. So here we go. Strap your boots on, pull your pants up. Here we go. We're jumping into a new year, a new decade very soon. And I look forward to hearing from you soon. Go watch this crazy video at ComfortZoneCoach.com and watch the one after it. And then shoot me a reply. Let me know what your favorite aha or takeaway was. And by the way, you can send it private message as well. It doesn't have to be public. I mean, we're getting into some territory that may bring up some issues, may bring up some challenges that you don't want to share publicly. And I respect that. And our communication, if you send it via private message, will be exactly that, private. So rock the day, make today great. Go to ComfortZoneCoach.com. Watch this crazy video here, and then watch the one of me sharing how this came to be in front of 1,800 people in the Netherlands. I'll talk with you soon. Until next time, make today great.